mentioned rebounding as an emphasis coming even off of the game Thursday night. You out-rebounded 61-21. Pretty satisfying?
You darn right. That's the first thing I said on the radio. The emphasis of rebounding. Natasha Mack is one of the better offensive rebounders in the league, and I told him over and over, Cox is going to do her job on Mack. Everybody else crash the boards and help us keep them off the boards. And I just thought we swarmed the ball better, and consequently we out-rebound them 40. And it was an emphasis when we got back. I told him that's the only thing after the Connecticut game. I could nitpick a lot of things, but if I had to just take one, we have got to keep people off the offensive boards.
How important was it to follow up that win at UConn with a solid performance? So, I mean, to kind of get it past and move forward in the Big 12.
Well, it's always important. You don't want to come back home. Is this our first home conference game, right? So you don't want to come back home. People are excited to see you. It's after the holidays. It's a Sunday afternoon game. You're going to get a lot of fans that don't watch NFL playoffs. I don't know who watches that anyway. But, what'd you learn in those first two games? Don't turn the ball over, right? Don't turn the ball over in any sport, and you win championships. So it was good to get out here today. I had no clue that Nalissa had career highs in both. I mean, it's not like they're sitting there telling me. That kid is just growing. I think Cooper and Juicy are just growing. You make 8 threes, that makes everybody else better. And I guess I better tell them to quit shooting those threes because I'm from the old school.
Here you go.
With Melissa, is it just a matter of minutes, or what's the difference between last year?
Everything. It's scouting reports. It's coaching her every day. Both ends of the floor, becoming All-American at both ends of the floor. And don't get frustrated. Don't get frustrated if they're banging on you. Don't get frustrated if you miss shots. Just keep an even keel. Just keep an even keel. And I think you're just watching it happen before your very eyes.
Melissa, was there a certain vibe or feeling you had in the fourth quarter the other night that carried over tonight, or is it just kind of your style?
I don't know. I feel like I played good in the fourth last game, so I knew I had to be consistent. So I knew to come into this game, and I had to keep the same mentality.
And make that about 1-0.
Everybody in the first quarter, you came down awkward. Were you okay? I mean, obviously you're okay because you came back. But
Yeah.
Did you just feel something weird there? Or
Yeah, I tried to stop on the layup, and I twisted my ankle. But hey, yeah, it happens.
Kim said she didn't know you had your career highs. Did you know at some point, or do you pay attention to numbers like that? Or?
Nah, I didn't know. I had my career high. They said that last week, so I don't know. I didn't even know, but they told me, so that's cool.
Well, and I'm going to tell you again, and this is the truth. Queen got 15 rebounds. You see? That's a quiet 15, but she needs to be acknowledged for that, okay? I played the big lineup and moved Cox outside. We did that at UConn. I think I can get some real good production out of that. And Cox can guard out there. They can guard out there, but what Cox brings is more experience. And I like that lineup.
speaking of Lauren, she's been back a few games now. And obviously, she talked about getting back in basketball shape. Where do you see her at this point, kind of getting?
They probably could answer that better than me. Y'all have seen Lauren at her best. Where is she?
She's up there. She getting there.
80 maybe. And
Yeah.
where you notice it with Lauren is not on the defensive end, not on passing. It's her shot. You know, she'll shot put it some, but you know she was 6 for 8 today, so her percentage was good. But the more she plays, the more she'll be back to herself.
You've had a lot of weapons. You've had a lot of weapons before. What's it like with the ones you have with this team?
I mean, playing with great players is always fun. So, I think just knowing them and individually and having a relationship with them is the difference.
Coach, you played a lot of different combinations tonight. What did you learn from those combinations?
Well, I started doing that in the Connecticut game, really, and things I'm looking for in the Connecticut game was rebounding, keep them off the offensive boards. The second thing is you don't go with that lineup too long, and it depends on who you're playing because we're so darn quick and athletic, we like to run. So you don't want to take that away with Dee Dee and Juicy and Moon and Coop, you know. So You just got to have a flow and a feel for the game, and yet at the same time, I'm getting more comfortable going within either lineup. I really am. I think at the end of the second quarter, guys, the last 4 minutes were terrible, and I'm going to put that on my shoulders. I subbed too much. I subbed too early. I did a lot of things that were poor as a coach in the second quarter, and I didn't put the bench in a position to look good. So I challenged them in the locker room and came back. They played 6-7 minutes there in the fourth quarter, and they looked totally different. So you got to coach to the bitter end, and you got to have expectations for every one of them that go on that floor. Last thing I told Queen in the locker room before I came in here was, you gave up 2 offensive boards in the last 30 seconds. So I can quit coaching, but we got to have that kid. We have to have every one of them for something through the course of a long season.
Both the players going into, or last Monday, you guys were ranked number 6 in the country. Did y'all have a sense as players that y'all are better than number 6 in the country?
I don't necessarily care about that, so it doesn't bother me none. I don't know how she feels.
I feel like we're number 1, so hey. That's how I feel.
We don't get to
It's other
vote, do we?
people's
Right.
opinion.
Yeah, we just gotta watch.
Tay, you guys had 3 more runs today of at least 10 points or more. You guys have had several others. Talk about what it's like when you get on one of those. I think you had a 14, 11, and another 10.
Oh, what?
Of runs of 10 points or more.
Oh, it's good. I think it's not really offensively that makes it fun. It's just holding people to not scoring for a while. I think that's what
Yeah, and I think the first one, I think you had 2 fast break layups off defensive rebounds by Lauren, who got you the ball.
Oh, yeah. You saw that pass she threw? LC,
Then she threw one short, and they picked it off.
You didn't have to say that.
LC, lead them to the rim.
You didn't have to say
If you're
that.
going to turn it over, what? Turn it over long, right? Isn't that what they say in football, Chad? I know we hated you missing that ball game right now, but look, Chad, if you throw it long, they can't intercept it, right? It's just another down.
Right.
Okay, that's
They
what
do,
I-
it's like a punt.
That's right. That's what I tell LC. Just throw it long, and if we don't get it, it's better than turning it over. Does she not throw it like old Bill Walton? Now I'm aging myself. Think of the last player that you ever saw that could take a rebound like that and go, boom, and it'd just be a line drive to the other end. Now, in my day, it was Bill Walton. Y'all got any other names for me?
Timmy.
Who?
Tim Duncan.
I don't know. Well, maybe.
San Antonio.
Yeah, you like that because it's San Antonio.
Coach, how exciting was that to have, Kalani and Chloe sitting there as well to see, all the success?
Did you see they had a turnover? Neither one of them were watching the game, and I threw the water bottle at them. Did y'all see that? Old Mark Vidal was sitting by Kalani. I said, watch this, Mark. I said, neither one of them paying attention. And I threw it right in between them. They jumped. I said, see, neither one of you were ready. It's great.
Always coaches.
These are the greatest years of those kids' lives. I'm just telling you, college are the greatest years of your lives. Kalani's over in China. Chloe, I think, just moved to Dallas. You don't ever want it to end. When you get here, you think it's never going to end, and then when it ends, you're like, I wish I was back in college, because you start paying bills. People don't really care about you in that real world except your family, and at Baylor, you got a lot of people that really love on you, and it was good to see them, and it was good to have them back.
Tell you, you were 4 or 5 from 3. It seems like you like the deep threat. Like you get behind that second line. You just look like you're comfortable from the deeper you go.
Yeah, I don't be realizing how deep I be till after the game, and I watch film. But I don't do it on purpose.
Right.
Somehow I'm just right there.
You're not looking at the line?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not.
'Cause you're like well behind that.
When they kick it out, I just be right there.
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, I've seen you with the facial expressions. At UConn, when Coach Mulkey starts talking, what are you learning about her?
what kind of facial expressions was it?
Like she entertains you. You can just tell. That.
Woo. I mean, yeah. We just have a good relationship. So when I'm doing something wrong and if I did something right.
Some of her phrases, singing, things like that kind of.
Oh, she sings everything.
All the time.
Like she just sings. Free throws, she's singing. During practice, she's singing. Yeah.
Never
So
serious.
that certainly had to make your transition a lot easier to what you had to do, not only new team, but new position, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kim, do you have a vote in the coaches poll?
A vote in polls, Lord,
In the
no.
coaches poll.
None of them, no. No, Lord. Louisville jumped to number 2 when they were ranked 9th and beat the number 1 team in the country on a neutral court. So I guess we probably gonna be number 1, don't you think?
Based on
I mean,
that.
come on, shouldn't we just leapfrog everybody? We don't care. We don't care. Really, what does any of that mean? It means you got some sports writers from the East Coast that cover their teams and help them stay up there. You got sports writers from the South. You got I don't know. I just know we're relevant.
The same thing as I asked them, though. I mean, is it kind of a little bit offensive to be the number 6 team in the country after you won the national championship?
Well, I think they put all their apples on the loss to South Carolina, and they didn't take into account that Lauren Cox did not play in that game. You have to take into account when it's like in Vegas when you're betting on a game, why do they ask who's injured and who isn't playing? I mean, you have to take into account those things, and I don't think people study it enough to understand. I don't do polls, don't ever want to do them because it takes time if you really want to be good. If you want to be an A student, you got to go study. If you want to be a good voter in the polls, study the scores. Today's the day. I wonder how many of them will sit down and study not just the scores, but wow, that was a close game. Did somebody get injured in that game? Was somebody not playing in that game? That's what I would do, and that's why I probably won't ever be, because that takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of commitment. I bet you, AP writer, I bet you if you ask Doug, y'all don't get as many voters anymore. He probably struggles to get people to want to do the poll voting now. I'd be willing to bet that,
Yeah,
because you gotta have some heart and want to do it and do it right. But really, guys, all that matters to us at this moment is to win as many in this conference as we can to get 10 in a row. That's a lot of championships, and that's our goal. And we've got to go on the road to Kansas, and we got to come back and play West Virginia here. I mean, there's just so much basketball left, but it was good to be home today. It's always good to be home.